Hey, fifth grade, this is the last lesson for this week and your last lesson with me before you guys move on to middle school. We're going to wrap up thinking about those spheres, the hydrosphere, biosphere, atmosphere, and geosphere. Once again, remember that all of the spheres interact with each other, and we're going to watch another video.
Some things just make sense together. Like peanut butter and jelly, or burgers and fries, or water and dirt? Okay, let me explain that last one. So we've already talked about how the Earth is divided into 4 spheres. That's the hydrosphere, the geosphere, the biosphere, and the atmosphere. Well, today I want to focus on just the first 2 of these spheres. The hydrosphere, which includes all the water on the planet, and the geosphere, which is simply the solid Earth. The hydrosphere and the geosphere are both equally important and different spheres of our planet. But do they interact with each other? And if so, how? Well, let's have a little refresher on what exactly both of these spheres are separately before we figure out how they interact together. You'll remember that geo means ground, so what we call the geosphere includes all the rocks, minerals, and ground found on and inside the Earth. This means every single pebble in the mountains, every grain of sand in the deserts, the entire ocean floor, and even the continents we live on are part of the geosphere. If it looks like solid ground, it's part of the geosphere. The geosphere includes the surface of the Earth, which we're on now, but it even extends down to the planet's core below us. Now, the hydrosphere is also found on the Earth's surface, and just below it too. But the hydrosphere also extends up into the atmosphere. Hydro means water, so the hydrosphere is made of all the water on Earth. And I do mean all of the water, like ponds, rivers, lakes, streams, oceans, glaciers on the Earth's surface, but also the moisture in the air, like rain, hail, and snow. That's all part of the hydrosphere too. So the geosphere and the hydrosphere are separate systems, but if we think of Earth as one giant system or a group of systems working nicely together, then the geosphere and the hydrosphere are 2 parts that work together to support life, like you and me, on the planet. How do these 2 spheres work together, though? Let's take a look at a model to find out. Since the geosphere is the ground, let's start by laying down some of that. And let's throw in some mountains too. Now we'll need some water. Let's have a river winding through the land about here. How about a lake? And just for the heck of it, let's throw some rain over here. Okay, so you can see in this model some elements of the geosphere, right? That would be the ground and the mountains. You can also see elements of the hydrosphere. Say hi to the river, lake, and raindrops. But so what? Both spheres are there, but they're not really doing anything together, right? Wrong. Look closer. See that riverbed under the river? How about the bottom of the lake? Those things are part of the geosphere. They're parts of the geosphere that are supporting and surrounding parts of the hydrosphere. And check out the rain over the mountains. The rain, which is part of the hydrosphere, is falling on and running down the mountains, which is part of the geosphere. And this is just a really small example of the 2 spheres interacting. Every day, all over the Earth, water is moving over landforms, from waterfalls flowing down mountains to ocean waves crashing on sandy shores. Water rests in lake beds or ocean floors, in river valleys, and even in the soil in your backyard, all of which are part of the geosphere. So on a basic level, the geosphere really provides a home for the hydrosphere, which I think it's kind of sweet, but that's just me. So now you know a little bit about how the geosphere and the hydrosphere are connected. To find out how they can actually affect and even change each other, check out our next episode.
All right, so one of the things I wanted to go back and talk about real quick before we move on, if you'll remember, we planted seeds and put them under the grow lights, and we were going to see which one grew the best. Now, a lot of you left the bags open because you thought that it would need to get air. Actually, what would have helped those plants grow the best is to have closed up those bags, because by doing that, you were creating a model of the Earth. So on Earth, we know that water evaporates and then it condenses and we have precipitation. if we would have kept those bags sealed, the water would have still evaporated, but it would have condensed inside the bag, and then it would have kept that water inside to be able to keep your plants wet. A lot of you had asked if you could add more water to your plants. The reason why they were drying out was because there was no way for that water to stay in your system. So, something you can maybe try over the summer. Try again, plant a seed in dirt, which is your geosphere. The seed, of course, would be your biosphere. Start with just a little bit of water would be all you would need for your hydrosphere. Ziploc that bag up, or use a twist tie or tie a knot in the bag so that it stays sealed, and you would have an atmosphere inside of that bag that would help to keep the water in there. Just something to think about, something you could try. I wish we could have finished doing that in the classroom, because then we would have been able to see it firsthand, but the things happen. So one more time in your science notebook, write down what you learned from the video. We've talked about a lot of those things, but you might have learned something new. Otherwise, if you want to just put in your own words how the biosphere or hydrosphere and geosphere interact, you can do that. So with that, we are done with science for this year. I've loved working with you guys. I've missed seeing your faces the last several weeks, but I know you guys are all going to do awesome in middle school. I hope you have a great summer. If you want to at any time, even when you're in middle school, send me a message. Let me know how you're doing. Or if you need any help with anything, I would be more than happy to help you. I've told you I know some of the teachers in the middle schools that teach science, so I might be checking in on you guys. Good luck and have fun with middle school. Bye, everyone.